Hey guys, welcome back to Not So Popular Opinion. People in the fat acceptance community are very sensitive and are prone to break down over the simplest things. Now, I'm not one to make fun of anybody's mental health, but this is truly pathetic. And this woman should seek help immediately. Let's check this out.
My 4-year-old is worried about being fat. I was getting her ready this morning and told her that she should layer a short sleeve over a long sleeve because it's cold outside. And she said, "Mom, but then people are going to think that I'm fat." And just like everything in me sank and I held it together and I was like, being fat doesn't mean anything. I'm fat and I'm super awesome. I'm fat and I'm pretty. I'm fat and we have fun. Like, you can still be awesome and have fun and do things when you're fat. And it doesn't matter what other people think about us. And I said something to that effect. And I was just like rambling and scrambling and trying to figure it out. And like, I have done everything that I possibly could to talk about my body in a positive way, to talk about other people's bodies in a positive way, to not talk about other people's bodies, to talk about what we do as people and not what we look at. And it still got to her through friends and TV. And what is this world that we live in that my 4-year-old is worried about being fat? How do we save them? And that's us. That's what we grew up with. That's in us from when we were that little. What do we do? How do I fix this? What do I do? I have no words. What do I do?
Do you see this shit? This woman had a full-blown fucking teary-eyed meltdown because a small child said the word fat. Kids are stupid, and they say all kinds of crazy things all the time. That shouldn't cause you to break down and cry. It caused a breakdown for her because that's something that she still hasn't dealt with, the fact that she's fat and she's too lazy to better herself, and she knows that being fat isn't good. And she doesn't want her daughter to end up like her. That's the real truth. She knows that fat isn't good. She knows there's no benefits to it. That is not a healthy life to live. And if you really want to help your daughter, you'd make sure she don't end up like you. A fat mess crying on TikTok. I'll tell you a little story about how kids say the darndest things. My daughter, at 2 years old, while watching TV with my brother while I was cooking dinner, said that Honey Boo Boo was her family. She said that those country hillbilly Mountain Dew butter eaters were her family. I didn't even know who the hell Honey Boo Boo was. My brother called me in there laughing hysterically and was like, "Bro, you're not gonna believe this." He had to pull up a YouTube video to show me who these people were. And I just laughed. And I was like, baby, those people ain't your family. Just like if a 2 or 4-year-old was saying anything about them worried about being fat, I'd be like, man, chill out, bro. You good. It is not worth crying. This is worse than crying over spilled milk. This lady has some trauma for real because she knows that the life she living ain't a good one. It is not about society. It is not about the fact that people make fun of fat people. And I don't understand where they come from with this whole, we're good, we have fun. What the fuck does that have to do with anything? Whole bunch of people have fun. Whole bunch of people are good. We ain't talking about morals here. We talking about your body. And your body is out of whack. You are not healthy. Physically nor mentally. If this is causing you a full-blown fucking breakdown, that a 4-year-old says something stupid. Where's your husband at? For real. Who left you alone with a child? I really hope that the husband watches you closely around his child, or if you, or baby daddy or whatever. Somebody needs to get you away from this child, because if this causes you to lose it, lady, let me tell you, you got a long fucking life full of heartbreak and breakdowns ahead of you. Because the older children get, the worse things get. The crazier things that they have to deal with, the crazier things as a parent you have to deal with. If you can't deal with the fact that your child is talking about they don't want to look fat by putting on layers of clothes, and you can't handle this, shit's about to get tough. Real tough. She ain't even been bullied yet. She ain't even went to school and had to deal with kids picking on her for looking different, for smelling funny, for eating glue, or whatever stupid crap kids do. And kids say crazy things. Kids bully each other. Kids make each other feel bad. Teachers make kids feel bad. All kind of stuff is going to happen to this child. And if you can't deal with the fact that your child is talking about not wanting to be fat at 4, you really need guidance around your child, because I fear for this child around you, and I'm not joking. Somebody needs to check on this child's welfare, because this woman don't need to be around no kids. She really don't. Not until she gets a full mental checkup and on some medication and on a fitness plan or something. She does not need to be around children. Not her children, not her family members' children, not the neighbor's kids, nobody's kids. This woman is a mess. This is pathetic. This is really pathetic. If this is what caused you to break down, ma'am, you ain't meant to be a parent. You ain't strong enough. You're not. You are extremely fragile. Extremely fragile. And you are not ready for the road ahead of you or the road ahead of your child. Somebody needs to step up and make sure that child is protected from people like you. Father, grandparents, anybody needs to come between you and that child until you get a mental checkup. Let's check out some of these comments. First commenter says, they're literally not even safe at a doctor's office, because that's where it got to me the most, and now I have an ED. You had an ED before you went to the doctor. Do not blame that doctor on you having an ED. If that doctor was telling you that you need to lose weight, you most likely had a binge eating disorder. And I hate when fat people get on here and claim that, you know, that the doctors cause my binge eating, or I'm sorry, the doctors cause my restrictive eating. You a fucking lie. Because if you had a restrictive eating disorder, you wouldn't be at the doctor hearing about your damn weight being too high. They would be telling you you need to eat more. And I guarantee your doctor ain't telling you that. Y'all, it's crazy. You had the binge eating disorder before you went to the doctor. Take some responsibility for your bad choices. Next comment here says, the first time I was made fun of for being fat was in daycare. It starts so young from peers who aren't taught the same way. They don't need to be taught not to pick fun at the fat kid or something like that. I'm sorry. Kids are maniacs. Kids are assholes. This is what they do. Kids are, for most of the time, just straight up honest. If your hair is nappy, they gonna say something. If you got messed up teeth, they gonna say something. If you're fat, they gonna say something. If you're skinny, they gonna say something. If you smell weird, they gonna say something. If you're ugly, they gonna say something. This is what kids do. How'd you fucking survive school? How did y'all survive, period? In my area where I grew up, that's all we fucking did. We made fun of each other. We made fun of the teachers. We made fun of the adults around us. We just made fun of each other. Cracked jokes, ranked on each other, whatever you want to call it. It's just what we did. Some of y'all people would not make it out of the SWAT. You really wouldn't. Y'all were fragile as hell. Jeez. Person here says, it's so hard. You did great. My mom took me to Weight Watchers when I was 14. I weighed 135 pounds. Next person here says, my mom stated, I'm sure they meant started taking me to Weight Watchers when I was 6 or 7. I barely weighed 100 pounds. What you mean you barely weighed 100 pounds? That, to me, that sounds like a fat ass kid. 6 or 7 years old weighing 100 pounds? Are you kidding me? From what I understand is that an adult woman is supposed to weigh around like 135 on average. You're 6 years old weighing 100 pounds. There ain't no barely to that. You a big ass kid. Your parents should have been took you to the doctor. Unless you like, what, 5 foot tall? At 6 or 7, you should not be weighing 100 pounds. They fucked up a long time ago. She should have been took you to the doctor to get that shit fixed. Your mom failed. Person here says, I've been there too. Parents can only do so much because the fat phobia comes from so many places that it's impossible to shield them. Fat phobia is not a thing. Here to tell you, I've never met a person afraid of fat people. Now, I've met people afraid of Santa Claus, but that's not because he's fat. That's because he's a creep that sneaks into your house and watches you all the time. But yeah, nobody's afraid of fat people or afraid of being fat. It's not a fear. Actually, it's just a rational mindset. You shouldn't want to be fat. There's no benefits to being fat. So just not wanting to be fat or not liking the idea of being fat, it's not a phobia. It's just a rational mindset. And you can talk to your child. The world is going to get to him if you're a bad parent. Just like this woman. She's a horrible parent. Calling how I see it. She couldn't even do a basic talk about weight without losing a damn mind. Without crying like a little bitch. So yeah, be a good parent. Talk to your kids about their weight. If they're having weight issues, be real. If they a little fat kid, be like, hey, we can work on this together. We can work out a little bit more. You ain't got to tell them, hell, you're cutting back on their food. Shit, just cut back on their food. You're a fucking parent. Be a goddamn adult. These motherfuckers, oh, shit. Last comment here says, I recently saw something along the lines of being fat is no different than being tall or short or skinny or pale, tan, etc. Whoever said that shit is a fucking liar. All right. There is a huge difference because those other things, being pale, being tan, being tall, being short, you cannot control those things. I can't magically, without some weird surgery, become 6'5". It's not possible. But I could all of a sudden, over time, become really fat or really skinny. It is not the same thing. And you're a moron if you believe that. Whoever said that, they need to shut the fuck up because they have no idea what they're talking about. Being fat is not like any other thing on this list except for being skinny because those are choices. Those are choices. Being fat and overweight and disgusting, if you are fat and disgusting and you know which ones I'm talking about. I'm not saying all fat people are disgusting, but we've seen them on here. That's a choice. It's one of those things that drive me nuts because not only is this a fat person problem, this is a female problem because nobody is going to hear this bullshit from a man and be like, yeah, bro, you right. No, we going to set that motherfucker straight. We going to sit his fat ass down and be like, bro, what the fuck are you crying about? Your kid was worried about being fat. Be a fucking man and talk to him. But because it's some woman crying on TikTok, motherfuckers feel bad. And that's pathetic. That is some loser shit. And I know I cussed a lot in this video. This woman just irritates the hell out of me. Bad parents just drive me fucking nuts. And people whining over the stupidest just irks me for real. People in this world have real problems that they cannot control. Real issues that they have to deal with. Real discrimination problems they have to deal with based on things they cannot control. And your fat ass is crying basically over spilt milk. This shit is sad and pathetic, and just, it leaves me worried for that child. When that child has real issues, who's that child gonna turn to? Because it ain't this woman. Because she can't handle anything. I'd hate to imagine what happens if that child is really getting bullied, or somebody's really picking on that child, or somebody says something to that child. This woman is gonna lose her mind and cry in a damn corner. I could not imagine watching another one of her videos. I really can't. So if y'all could and tell me if this woman is not like this, or this is some kind of joke, this is some kind of pathetic grab for attention, please let me know. Is this normal? Is it normal for adults to get on TikTok and cry because they can't handle the word fat? All right, ladies and gentlemen, as always, I'd love to hear what you think. Thank you for liking, sharing, subscribing, and commenting, and checking out another episode of Not So Popular Opinion. I'll see you in the next one. I'm out.